And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Another exciting show on tap for you tonight. We'll be previewing the upcoming baseball and softball seasons. Actually, baseball already underway, but their home opener coming up this weekend. We'll kick off with baseball and softball and then talk some men's and women's basketball before the show's done this evening. But first, want to thank all of our sponsors of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Appreciate all their support. Arby's, Brevard Orthopedics, BSN Sports, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Pepsi, Salsaritas, Sully Steamers, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Appreciate their support of Brevard College Athletics. Well, to catch you up around the world of Tornado Athletics, the men's basketball team was in action this past Friday night. A 86-72 win over Bob Jones, a very impressive performance by the Tornadoes. Quincy Carter with a career-high 18 points to lead the way there. And now the Tornadoes really get into the meat of the USA South Conference schedule. They will face Maryville Tuesday at 7 p.m., and then that's followed by a Friday matinee. Tornadoes hosting Huntington at 2 p.m. at the Bosch. And then 4 p.m. Saturday, the Tornadoes will host Covenant in men's basketball. That's 4 p.m. Saturday at the Boschmer Gymnasium. That's also Jameson's Joy Day. We'll have head coach Lee Burgess on later in the program to tell you all about that. Women's basketball was in action this weekend. They played two affairs. The first one, an 82-44 win over Wesleyan. Shakira Thompson leading the way there, 21 points, including 5 made three-pointers. And then a win over Agnes Scott, 70-52. McKenna Parkins, 27 points, a career high. Also the third most block shots in Tornado history with 5 block shots in that contest. Tornadoes are rolling in women's basketball. They'll continue and try to keep this momentum going as they come down to the home stretch of their conference competition at Maryville on Wednesday in Maryville, Tennessee. That's at 6 p.m. Host Huntington, the Tornadoes do on Saturday. That's at 2 p.m. That's also senior day at the Bosch. So you want to get there early and help celebrate that senior class. And then right back at it versus Maryville once again, 3 p.m. on Sunday at the Bosch. So women's basketball opportunities for NATO Nation to check them out. Climbing was in action this past weekend. An impressive performance at the Wake Forest University competition. Dawson Jacobs leading the way. He won that event. 6 total top 10 finishes for the Tornadoes. Men's and women's tennis season opener of the Tornadoes in the sport of tennis. They head to Charlotte this weekend, where the Tornadoes will face off against Johnson and Wales University. That's 1 p.m. Sunday if you're in the Charlotte area. Softball opening day right around the corner. It'll be this Wednesday at the BC softball field when the Tornadoes host Carolina University. Doubleheader starts at 1 o'clock. We'll be talking a lot of softball later in the show. And then baseball. Coming back from Cary, North Carolina, the USA Baseball Training Complex, an impressive 7-3 win over William Peace in Game 1 of the doubleheader. In Game 2, a 10-6 win over William Peace. Tornadoes opening day at Gil Cone Field. That'll be this Saturday when the Tornadoes host Allegheny, slated for a 1 p.m. start, the doubleheader versus Allegheny. And then Sunday, Game 3 of the series, Tornadoes hosting Allegheny at 1 p.m. at Gil Cone Field. So big opportunity there for you to see the Tornadoes baseball and their opening of this campaign at home. And with that, we're excited to bring in our first guest of the evening from the aforementioned Brevard College baseball program. We've got 3 members of the coaching staff here: head coach Mike Victory, assistant coaches Rob Julian and Steve Hucke. And Coach Victory, let's start with you. Just kind of big picture heading into the season. I know you have one game, or actually one series, a doubleheader this past weekend under your belt. But, tell NATO Nation about this year's club at large, in general? And, what do we have to look forward to this season?
Yeah, they're a good group. We're excited about them. This weekend was a good jumping off point for them. We have a lot of young guys. There's, I think it's 21 freshmen on the team this year that are learning the ways and trying to figure things out. And when you get to play a tough USA South opponent, non-conference, but still a USA South, it's good to get them to understand what the atmosphere is going to be like week in and week out. We got a lot of guys in, returners and freshmen throughout the day, getting a lot of young guys some experience with their first at bats and their first time, defensively, getting those jitters out. Even one of our sophomores was like, "Yeah, I'm a little nervous today, coach." And it was fun to get through opening day with them and see how excited they are to build on, what we did last year and hopefully get to play a full 40-game schedule and, a tough conference schedule once we get into it. It should be a really good year, and they're excited to see what they can do.
Assistant coach Rob Julian handles the pitching staff as well. Same question for you, coach. As far as the season at large, this year's club, what are you most excited about?
Just building on, the success that we saw a little bit last year. Obviously, it didn't end how we wanted it to end. So, everyone came back, a little hungrier than I think they had in the past, because they know that, we're right there. We're on the cusp of being able to do something special. And that's exciting. I think the way that they came out and played this past weekend is a good starting point. Like Coach mentioned, we got a lot of work to do, a lot of steps to still take, but that was a good showing, I think, and we can only really go up from there.
Coach Steve Hucke in the house as well. Coach Hucke, you've seen a lot of college baseball over the years on all sorts of levels. I know you know, and you're a big part of it. Brevard's building something special here, but tell us even more about this year's club.
Well, I'm as excited about them. I mean, we had a lot of great at-bats this weekend, and the excitement level since we've been out there starting in the fall has just been something different. It's been electric and just fun to be around. It makes you want to get to the ball diamond every day, and you see the desire these kids have, and they want to be successful. You can see the young kids who are still kind of green and still have the deer in the headlight look, but they're trying to do what they can to make it special for those upperclassmen who had a decent season last year and want to do well for them this year, and especially the ones that got kind of thrust into starting lineups. They want to do well for the upperclassmen, so that the upperclassmen have something to talk about and think about years to come when they get together later on.
Coach Victory, for those who might not have been able to check out the live stream of this weekend's games against William Peace, can you fill us in a little further? I know there was 2 big innings, offensively that really, contributed to much of the scoring, and also some good pitching performance as well.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew Scavotto sets the tone for us game 1 of every series, and is going to do that the rest of this season. He's going to be, one of the best in the conference going forward. And, when he's on the mound, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we score those runs to back him up and end up coming out on top. And that's what we do, I think, that makes us really, really good, is we take great at bats. Our hitters stood in there and waited for their opportunities. And, it's not like we're a hit 6 home runs a game kind of team, but we got our hits, we got our walks, and we made things count when we got our opportunities. And it was a base hit here, a guy moving up on a ball in the dirt, a guy moving up on an overthrow, and just taking advantage of every little thing that we got. You saw that in game 1 and game 2. We used a couple of more pitchers just early in the season, but same thing. We got into an inning where pitchers were a little bit erratic. Our guys waited and waited. Use those walks, use those base hits, and you got a big lead, and we can play comfortably with those leads. And that's what we want to do, jump out early, let our pitching staff work, and then pile on. We're big on extending those leads when we get those opportunities. Even one of the big innings we had was all with 2 outs. We came up, got the first 2 outs, bang, bang, and you would have thought dead inning. But then from there on, it was just chip, 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 and suddenly the runs just kept coming. They couldn't get out of an inning, and we took advantage of it.
Coach Julian, part of that formula, you build a big lead, but then you protect that lead, in the later innings with the pitching. Can you talk about your relief corps?
Yeah, I mean, Scavs went out and did what he does, and then we have a lot of faith in Chap Bryce Bowers to go out there and do that. Most of the time he's going to go throw. He's a guy that we think can come in and shut down games for us, especially once you get that 7-3 lead, it's okay. Now don't let them back in. So he was able to go out there and shut them down. And then game 2, we were able to get some guys in and see some things. Caesar obviously came in, and that's what he's going to do a lot of the time. He's going to get a lot of weak contact. We didn't play the best defensively behind him, but he was able to continue to get ground ball. And that's what you're going to get from him a lot of the time. And then Thompson's a freshman that we're really excited about. He is another guy that fills up the strike zone and is going to get a lot of weak contact. So I think as a whole, we're excited to see what this pitching staff can really do as we go a little bit further and be able to extend some guys a little bit more. Sanders started game 2, and we talked, and I thought he pitched great as well. It's just one of those things early in the year. His pitch count gets up a little bit higher. In those first 2 innings, comes out in the third and figures it out a little bit and has a really good inning. And then we go score 9, and he sits on the bench for 45 minutes in 30-degree weather. If it's a little warmer and the pitch count isn't where it is, I think we let him go a little bit longer and he settles in really nicely. But it was also nice to be able to see some of those bullpen guys come out and do what they did.
Coach Hucke, on the offensive end, names like Blake Burchett, Frankie Vasquez, Jason Jucker with an RBI double in game number 1, all getting it done offensively.
Yeah, it's fun to see. Like Coach said, we just put some great at bats together. We were patient. It's easy early in the games, the first few games, to be over anxious, swing the bat, and I didn't think that we had any over anxious swings. Maybe a couple here and there, but I think that the guys kind of let the game come to them. They slowed the game down enough to be able to, in their minds, to be able to take advantage of some of the walks, get some clutch hits. We only had, Coach made the comment, we're not going to hit a lot of home runs. We had 1 extra base hit, but we scored 17 runs. So, our guys were taking advantage of guys being on base and getting the clutch hits for us. And then, we had a couple hustle scores where we made them play and made them make the play, and they didn't execute it, and we did. And it's fun to see that, and just the excitement of the bench, when good things like that happen. But yeah, I was really happy with the way we went to the plate with a plan. It seemed like every single hitter had some kind of a plan in their mind, and we talk about it all the time. But the short week of practice that we had, is tough to implement that stuff as much as we can. But I thought that the guys went in there with a very good, clear head, clear minds, and they knew what their task was, and they got the job done for us. So it was fun to see.
One more for you, Coach Hucke, before we put a bow on this William Peace doubleheader. It was played at the USA Baseball National Training Complex, where you had the opportunity to coach part of the USA Baseball program, not too long ago. Great experience for these Tornadoes to get the opportunity to play at that facility, Coach. If you can, tell folks a little more about that.
Well, you just think about the number of quality baseball players who went through those gates and played on those fields to represent the USA baseball team, our whole country. In the Olympics, in the Pan Am Games, a lot of those guys have gone on and done very well successfully in the major leagues, and just to be able to walk through there and know the history of that place and the history of what USA Baseball's done for our country as well, and it's a special place. I walked through those gates, and I know it was cold, but I actually did have a chill down my spine just walking through there, seeing that USA banner again. So it's an awesome place. If you haven't been, I would suggest just taking the time to go and stop in and walk around. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. Well, Coach Victory, looking ahead, right around the corner, opening day at Gilcone Field here on the campus of Brevard College, and a familiar foe, Allegheny College, where you coached for several years yourself, where Coach Julian played as a student athlete, and now Allegheny comes into Brevard, North Carolina. By the way, the weather forecast for Medville, Pennsylvania, where Allegheny is located, on Saturday, a high of 18, low of 7, snow showers. So it'll be considerably nicer here. But all that being said, Coach, I'm sure it means a lot to you on a personal and professional level as well to host Allegheny in this opening day situation at Gilcone Field.
Yeah, our guys keep asking if we're making the return trip next year, and that's the exact reason why we will not be doing that. No, but Coach Crum was big for me, and helped me with some of my philosophies and understanding the game and some of the things that we still do here. And coming out of there, it's been great to continue to have him as someone to, call and talk to these last couple of years, just trying to figure out, COVID and getting our program, going in the direction that we want to go in. And they're going to be tough. That's what I want out of our non-conference schedule, or teams that are going to come in and challenge us. Because we know with the USA South schedule, we sent two teams to the tournament in a shortened tournament year last year. And those teams are back with a lot of the same guys. And most other weekends are going to be hard fights, dog fights from pitch one to the last pitch. So we'll get a team like Allegheny in here that competes in another very, very tough conference. With some guys that I've definitely recruited, and it'll be great to see them back down here again. But guys that I know are going to challenge our hitters, challenge our pitchers. That's what you want out of these early season contests. Is that challenge? Is the chance to put yourself up against teams that expect to be the best, expect to be in regional rankings, and see how we match up against them. I think it'll be a lot of fun for the coaching staff. I think it'll be fun for the guys to get to meet. We tend to recruit the same personalities, and it'll be fun for our guys to interact with some guys that are from a little further away and see how they talk to each other. And they'll probably swap stories when guys get on second base about Coach Victory and Coach Julian. But it'll be good baseball for 3 games, and that's what's important.
Anything to add to that, Coach Julian, since you've got that connection as well?
Yeah, I mean, Meadville will always have a place in my heart. Mead Atlanta Vegas is what we call it. But yeah, like he mentioned, Coach Crum's a good coach. He recruited me. He coached me for 3 years. He gave me my first start in coaching. Gave me my first opportunity. So I'll always appreciate him for that. And like he mentioned, he's a guy that we can call and talk, and if I need advice, or if I just want to shoot ideas, or if I want to go and complain about Coach Victory to him a little bit. But yeah, we're excited. Like you mentioned, they're a good team. They're gonna play well. At the end of the day, it's just another opportunity for us to go out and get better. It's another building block as we continue to, make sure that we're hitting our strides at the right time. Whenever that conference play starts. So, these non-conference games are going to be important. And this is just another opportunity for us to go out and do what we do and try to improve. There's the diplomatic answer.
Very good. Well, hang tight, coaches. We're going to bring in a couple of your student athletes here and get this party really going here on Tornado Talk. As joining the building here now, Jack Atkinson is in the house, also Matthew Scavotto. And the way we'll do this little handoff here, Coach Hucke, we'll start with you, and then we'll let you go. Why don't you help us introduce one of your hitters, Jack Atkinson?
Oh, he's here? Did he? Oh, hey, Jack. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Coach?
Jack is one of those kids that, he's constantly asking, what I can do to get better and what I can do to improve and what can we do as a team to improve. And he's a student of the game. And, we spent a lot of time, him and I, talking over the last few years in regards and finally getting his swing down and getting his foot strike down and getting things. So he's actually being a little bit more competitive for us and get himself on base because we like to get him out running. So he's a great kid. He's a great leader. He does everything you ask him to do and then some. So I'm excited to see how the season's going to go for him. And Scavo over there, he was shoving this weekend. It was good to see him back on the hill getting after it. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to see what Jack does as a leader for us.
All right, very good. Appreciate that help with that introduction. And Coach Julian, we'll let you help introduce the pitcher in the building.
Yeah, Scavs is our guy. It's kind of the best way to put it. When he's on, I don't think there's many, if any, pitchers that are better than him in this conference. He fills it up well. He can throw a lot of pitches. This past weekend, his fastball was like 76 to 85. Like it'll fluctuate. He flips them in there sometimes. He can put it where he wants. Holds runners well. He's an ace. That's the best way I can tell you. He's an ace. We've been around some good ones, and he's one of the good ones. So I'm looking forward to watching him continue to do what he does, and see if we can go out on a little bit of a special note here for him.
Very good. Appreciate that, Coach Rob Julian. And we'll leave the final word for you, Coach Victor, if you can kind of sum up these two leaders on your club and maybe a final message for Tornado Nation heading into this season.
Yeah, I mean, this is their team. They've been with us for 3 years now, and they've been sponges. They're guys that listen and they do the right things day in and day out. If you want to be one of the best players in our program, you follow these guys and their other captains and the other seniors that have bought in. And I tell them that all the time. It's their team. I'm just trying to give them the tools to lead their teammates and get them to the promised land. And when we do something special, it's going to be because of these two and the other two captains, the other two seniors that have pushed and pushed and pushed to be at this spot. When you think about how to be successful, it's when your seniors play their best their senior year, you're going to be really, really good. And these are two of the good ones. And there's some other ones that I'm sure we'll have on this show down the road that you'll get to see their highlights throughout the year. But it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a fun ride. Hopefully nice weather and no fan restrictions. It's great to have lots of people out there filling the hill, making a lot of noise. If you were there for some of our bigger games last year, when it gets loud, people here on campus, and it's a great time. And this is a fun group to watch, and they go out and they have fun and play hard. They play the right way. You want to come watch good baseball, come to Gilcone Field whenever we're there.
All right, opening day at Gilcone Field. That's Saturday, 1 p.m. versus Allegheny. The 3-game series concludes on Sunday. Coach Michael Victory, Coach Rob Julian, Coach Steve Hucke. Thanks for joining Tornado Talk. We'll let you gentlemen go. We'll see you this weekend at the Yard.
Thanks for having us.
See you.
It was a pleasure.
All right, there they go. And without further ado, we'll get to hear from these two. Jack Atkinson, the senior outfielder from Piedmont, South Carolina, Wren High School. Jack, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Phil. Glad to be back on.
Yeah, great to have you on the program. And also Matthew Scavotto, the senior pitcher from Charlotte, North Carolina, East Mecklenburg High School. Matthew, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Phil. It's good to be here.
Yeah, great to have you guys back on the program. Another season already underway. And before we kind of preview what's ahead, love to hear from each of you two as far as this past weekend, that doubleheader sweep over William Peace. Matthew, we'll start with you. You took the ball for the first pitch of the 2022 campaign for the Tornadoes and were able to get that win, ultimately a 7-3 win for the Tornadoes. How did you feel, and what did you think was the key to that team victory?
I think we needed to really replicate what we did last year. Last year we had a lot of success against that team. We had to go in not knowing what to expect. We have a bit of a history with William Peace. My freshman year, we split with them 2 games to 2 games. My sophomore year, they swept us. My junior year, we swept them. So this year was kind of the tiebreaker in my head. It was, kind of the deciding series. So I knew that we had to go in and do what we've been working on for months now since the fall and execute, and we did.
And Jack Atkinson, certainly the offense got it going, especially a couple big innings in both of those contests, but able to get the doubleheader sweep. That's the bottom line. What'd you see as the key this weekend?
We hit when we needed to. I felt like Matt always comes out and gives us a good outing, and we didn't really play our best defense behind him, but he's Matt. Like, he's going to throw strikes, he's going to get outs. But we hit when we needed to, like Coach was saying, how we got so many two-out hits and 2-out runs, and that's just a real killer when it comes to hitting.
And Jack, now you get finally the home opener, opening day at Gilcone Field, and you've been a part of a bunch of these, but it's got to feel special every time, and certainly extra special this year, your senior season.
Yes, sir. It's going to be fun to put on the whites for one last first time, I guess. Those are our favorites, so it's going to be a fun one for sure.
And Matthew, you probably heard us talking to your coaches. This is an interesting matchup with their background with the opponent at Allegheny College. Have you guys been talking about that internally amongst the players?
Oh, definitely. We're not quite sure what to expect because I know that they brought in a lot of new ideas and new ways to approach things on the baseball end of things. And it's kind of their roots. So I'm interested to see the similarities and differences that we have with that team.
Matthew, your senior season, so you're heading towards, the finish line, not just on the baseball side of things, but heading towards graduation here at Brevard College. Fill us in a little bit about, your studies, what you're looking to do post-graduation, et cetera.
Sure. So I'm a history major. I have a pre-law minor that I've already finished. I just got to graduate. And I did an internship in an archive. So my plan, I've already applied to one law school, and if I get in, then that's the road I want to take. And if I don't, then I plan on going to grad school. Not quite sure what for at the moment, but definitely some additional schooling.
And same question for you, Jack, headed towards, that diploma and so forth. Fill us in on your degree forthcoming and what's next.
Yes, sir. So right now I'm working on just finished my criminal justice degree. So I'm planning on going into the workforce for that, and cannot be more excited for it for sure.
And Jack, you're also the president of SAC, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, really the voice of the student athlete, not only, with legislation on the conference level and in the NCAA and that kind of thing, but also just to make sure that, the student athlete's voice is being heard, but also you put together all sorts of great programs in the community, both on and off campus. Can you fill us in a little bit on your role with SAC and what you guys have been doing this year?
So as of right now, we have some new things coming up for sure. There are kind of some big moves that are in the making. I really love my executive board. Jamarcus Walker, who actually just went to the conference, had some cool things to come back and talk to us about. We have some big things coming. So I'm just going to tell you to hold on to your horses for a second, Phil.
Very good. Well, we'll stay tuned and just make sure you let us know here at Tornado Talk so you can tell NATO Nation whatever you have planned there. Matthew, you've been here at Brevard College. You've got to experience life here in the mountains and in this special environment. If you were talking to a high school senior who's considering Brevard College, now that you've seen it through and, that senior happens to play baseball and would be of the caliber to play for the Tornadoes, what would be the kind of thing you would tell them about, why Brevard College makes sense for a baseball student athlete like himself?
Well, the first thing that I would probably talk about is that we are, majority athletes. A large percent of the student body here is part of an athletic team. We have so many, and just having that common ground amongst everybody on campus is a very easy segue to meeting new people, and you kind of have a mutual understanding that everybody is very busy between practice and off-season workouts and class, and so being able to share that struggle and grind with everybody else on campus around you is definitely appealing in my opinion.
Anything to add to that, Jack?
No, I think you said it great. And just like the teams here, I feel like are families. Like everyone talks about fraternities, sororities at other schools. It's kind of like our sports teams here. We're our own groups, but we also mesh really well together. So that's nice.
Back to baseball, Jack Atkinson, senior outfielder. This year's squad, some young talent, some new faces, guys that, NATO Nation hasn't seen necessarily yet. But I know you guys are excited to, get in front of the home crowd. Can you give us a little bit of a teaser, a preview of, what the Tornadoes look like this year and some of that young talent?
So I'm going to start with two names that come to the top of my head, Frankie Vasquez and Kale Oler. They started first this year. Kale came in as an outfielder and a pitcher. Coaches told him he was just going to be a PO, and then he came out and hit really, really well in the ball for us, and then started first base and did a really good job over there. One thing I can say is we're going to be really quick this year. We returned our whole outfield starting lineup, but our outfielders behind us, they pushed us to be even better. There's a lot of competition between the guys. So that's one thing I can say that's made us completely better, is there's a ton of competition.
Very good. And Matthew Scavotto, tell us a little bit about the pitching staff as a whole.
Absolutely. Kind of like Jack said, we have a lot of competition, but I would put it more as depth. So we have guys that we can go to and that we can trust to get the job done more than we've ever had since I've been here. Everybody kind of has acknowledged and accepted their role, and everybody just kind of shifts into having a specific niche on the team. And if guys continue to fill their roles, then the pitching staff's going to do great. We're going to, be able to shut down the majority of these hitters that are in our conference and outside of our conference. We just got to keep sticking to what we've been working on day in and day out, and we'll have success for sure.
All right, Matthew, before we let you go and before we get to the whole, shout outs portion of the program, how about a message for NATO Nation? Just, one more sales pitch, why they should come on out to Gilcone Field, not just this weekend, but all season long to check you guys out.
Well, baseball is a lot more fun to watch when your team is winning. This is by far our best chance at having the best season that there has been in 4 years since I've been here. Not only do we have the individual talent and the potential, but we have the drive and the work ethic. I think people are buying in more and more, and not just into what we do on the field, but off the field. We have guys that are just continuously pushing themselves and pushing others directly and indirectly in order to better the whole team. So I'm, it's going to be a good season of baseball, and it's always fun to see, your friends and your fellow students in their role of what they're practicing all the time. We see each other in classrooms, but we never really see each other on, the other field. So it'll be cool to come out and see us in our element. So it's going to be a good time.
Well done. Nicely said. Jack Atkinson, for someone who's perhaps never seen Brevard College baseball, and certainly this year's edition, what would you tell him to get him out there to Gilcone Field?
So from all the 6 o'clock early morning lifts to the 6-hour practices on Saturday morning, we've been working, and it's going to be fun. We have a lot of guys that want to be there, want to play, and want to show like what NATOs are about. So it's going to be a fun one for sure.
Very good. And Jack, shout outs or thank yous?
So I'd like to shout out my mom, my sister, my grandparents, my dad, my girlfriend. Thank y'all all for pushing me to be who I am today, for sure.
All right. And same opportunity for you, Matthew Scavotto. Any shout outs or thank yous, people who've helped you along the way?
Yeah, I have a very special shout out. I want to just give a shout out to the whole USA South, because we were voted in the preseason polls 5th place, below 2 teams that we beat with ease last year. And so every time I consider giving up, or the thought of, not pushing myself anymore creeps in, I think about how stacked against me and my guys the odds are. And that just gives me this indescribable motivation to just keep pushing and keep going and keep fighting and prove them all wrong. We have a lot to say. We're not a secret anymore. Last year we kind of surprised people, and now people expect us, and they fear us. They fear the NATOs. They got to watch out. So, that doubt it pushes me on a daily basis. I can promise you that. All
right, Matthew Scavotto. Well, appreciate that. What you're talking about there is bulletin board material. And, certainly it's a motivated group, these Brevard College Tornadoes, the baseball team. Well, we're excited to get you guys in front of NATO Nation this weekend. We can't wait for opening day, Saturday versus Allegheny College. And then the 3-game series continues on Sunday, and then all season long down there at Gilcone Field. Can't wait to see you in action. Thanks for joining the program this evening, Jack Atkinson and Matthew Scavotto.
Thanks for having us, Phil.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll let those two go. We'll quickly transition here to the other program here at Brevard College that is going to be hosting opening day this week, as we invite into the program our next guest from the Brevard College softball team, softball head coach Shearin. Coach, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
Well, always a pleasure and always a lot of fun to talk softball. This season, here we are. It's right here. We're ready to roll. And the opener will be on Wednesday. That's right. This Wednesday, just 2 days away, versus Carolina University. It's a doubleheader that starts at 1 p.m. Before we get into specifics, Coach, as far as, sort of big picture, can you talk about the program, how you guys are doing overall as far as you building the program and, heading into this season?
Yeah. Right now, it's my first full year, fall and spring with the program. So we're definitely starting to see some balance with the culture. We've got a lot of older kids on the team that are guiding the freshmen. We had a big freshman class come in. So to have, the graduate kids like Emily White and Brittany, and then the 5 other seniors that we have, they really are guiding them through the process. And that's what you want in a program, and to keep the culture good and to get things rolling. So we finally have that. We finally have the numbers that we need to make inter squad successful and practice successful. So going forward, we have all the key ingredients that we need. We just got to put it into play.
And I know you all have been working hard and probably dodging some inclement weather, these last few weeks to get ready for this opening day on Wednesday, early February. Can you talk about that as far as this preseason practice once, the student athletes were able to get back to school for the start of the spring semester?
Yeah, so we had COVID hit through the program at the beginning, so we had to push back, and then we had the snow hit, and it covered our whole field, so we had to push back a little bit more. So we started about a week behind schedule, but the girls and I just talked about it's grind time. It's time to go. So once we got out there, we had practice plans. We knew every minute was budgeted for us, and making sure that we get through everything. We didn't get as much live in as we wanted just because of the field conditions and the weather, but we did get an inter squad yesterday. So that was our first full day at it, and it went really, really well.
Outstanding. And then, Coach, the opener on Wednesday. Can you tell us specifically a little more about this year's club? You talked about the blend between, upper class student athletes and, this great freshman class. But, what are the kind of things NATO Nation can expect from this year's club, whether it's style or play or, a couple players to really look out for?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Always looking out for Emily White and Brittany Franks. Being graduate kids, this is technically their 5th year going forward. And they're willing to put the work in. They're coachable kids, and they know that me being the only coach right now, we don't have an assistant. They pick up a lot of slack for us. So that helps the younger kids just move forward with things. And our freshmen, they're grinding it out right now, and they're excited. They have that fresh energy that we needed to push the upperclassmen a little bit. And it's just energy every day for them. I will say our freshmen are constantly smiling. I get people all day long comment on how just happy our freshmen are. And they're the most likable kids. And I just have so much fun with them every day. And so I think that our juniors and seniors are really feeding off of them. So that's awesome. We brought in definitely some speed that we needed from last year. So our freshmen and our sophomores are pushing us in the speed factor. So we're going to be stealing a lot more bases. And they also have the power. So just in inter squad yesterday, we had 4 home runs from 4 different kids. And that was huge for us. And we were kind of missing a few pieces here and there. Jocelyn Falkers, she has been working on her swing so much. And we're moving her down in the lineup this year because we have some freshmen that can pick up that 2 slot that we needed. So Joss is going to be able to swing the bat more, and that's what we've needed from her. So I'm really excited to see her develop as a hitter as well.
And then the schedule, there's a lot of opportunities for NATO Nation to see the Tornadoes at home at the BC softball field. By the way, for those who haven't seen the softball team as of late, they're playing back at their old facility, the original softball field here on the grass field, not on Islamel Family Field. I know that was something you really wanted to see through, Coach, as well. And, it means a lot to have your own facility, your own place you call home, but also a great atmosphere for the fans.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The turf was nice. It just wasn't the ideal softball situation. And so when people come out to softball, they feel back in the nature of that now. I mean, the dirt changes everything. It also changes the upperclassmen and how they view the game. Being able to practice on the field that you're going to play on at other facilities helps a lot. We're going to get some chalk lines this year, so the girls are excited about that instead of the paint. It's just little details that make game day so much more exciting. Oh, no, we lost Phil. There he is.
Well, I appreciate you continuing to keep that going there, Coach. The wonders of the internet here, but a compelling schedule as well. A lot of home games, as we mentioned before, especially in the month of March. It's great to kind of experience the change of the seasons with the sport of softball. But can you tell us more about the schedule? In sort of your philosophy as far as building that schedule and these opportunities for your student athletes.
Yeah, I talked through it with the girls, and they at first were a little like, Coach, why are you putting us through this? And I explained to them, we're going to play really hard teams. We play Reinhardt, which they are a top 25 NAIA. We played them twice this year. We're playing Carolina University. They're on the up and up for the NAIA. And we play Pfeiffer, who's on the other side of the conference, and they were ranked number 1 on the other side. And so we're going to be put through it so that we're ready for our side of the conference. We never want to just go up and have an easy win. We don't want easy days. We want to get pushed every single day. And those teams are really going to prepare us for the Piedmonts of our side. And that's the goal, is to get into that. Right now we're ranked 6, and we need to get into that 4-5 slot. So those teams are going to push us to get to that slot.
Very good. Well, I know recruiting is also a full-time endeavor for any coach in the NCAA or here at Brevard College. But Coach, now that you've settled in, your first full season, second season overall, and you've gotten to know Brevard, North Carolina, Brevard College, and what the Tornado softball program's all about as well. Can you tell us, the sorts of things you're talking to recruits about, and what the differences between Brevard College and maybe some of the other choices out there?
Yeah, so Brevard's a special place, and anyone that kind of talks to me, especially the athletic staff, knows how happy I am here. And that changes the culture of your team. When your coach is happy where they're at and they get treated well, it bleeds into the program in the best way possible. And so I talk to my recruits about that. I talk to them about, my happiness here and my personal future here and what I see to build this program. And that makes them excited and they want to come here. And they talk to the girls, and I give them full access to the team at all times to talk about what we're doing every day, how I am, the good, bad, the ugly, all of it. So I never want to tell a recruit something that's not the truth. And so that's why I give them full access to the team to talk to them when they're here and just ask questions. The other thing, it's a small school, and kind of like the baseball guys were talking about, it's special to have so many athletes around you that understand what's going on. The support is unmatched. And our facilities just keep getting better. I mean, they're just getting better and better every year. We're growing. There's always construction on campus, which is a good sign. And I tell recruits that too. You want to go to a college campus and see construction everywhere, because that means we're growing and getting bigger and better. So those are huge things that we point out. Another thing is just the professors work so well with me. And they're always calling or emailing and just checking in on the team and their mental health. And that's huge for us. For the softball team as a whole, my degree was in mental health. So we take that really seriously, and they, have their days off when they need it. And if a professor feels like they need to talk to me about something, they come to me genuinely. And so when recruits are here, I feel like they can feel that through my talk with them.
And then ultimately that team culture you're talking about, as far as being part of the team and, not only, working hard in the competitive side, but also having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I have so much fun out there with them. I mean, Emily is a jokester. She'll be on later. She's always messing with me in some kind of way. And that is good because the younger class sees me in a different light, and the freshmen at first are a little timid. And then by the time they hit junior year, they're finally able to make those jokes with me and loosen up a little bit. So it's good for them to see Emily mess with me on a daily basis and just have fun at practice. And I always ask for their input and just see how they're doing. Cause the goal is for them to have fun, and yes, this is, what you came to school for, and it's kind of what's pushing you sometimes in the classroom when things get tough, but it should also be fun. So there's a lot of times where we'll play spike ball at practice and just have a little competition. But I think that as a whole, they love the amount of fun that we have.
in rounding out that student athlete experience, of course, community service, giving back. And I know that softball program's done a lot of that. And in particular, I remember one image that came across the wire of you all helping out some, local folks in need, shoveling them out, during that snowstorm. But can you talk about how important community service is, to yourself, Coach, and then also the program?
It's huge, especially just to get people to know our name. That's the big thing. But just people, the situation with the snow shoveling, Lee Burgess also and basketball helped with that a lot. But I get this woman called Miranda and was just like, we need help. We can't get out to get to our appointments and to get our prescriptions and stuff. And so Miranda jumped on it and called all the coaches, and we happened to jump on that opportunity to help. And we got it done in 20 minutes. It would have taken them 3 days, so we just have the manpower that they needed, and they were so grateful. And it's huge. We worked with Transylvania County Little League as well. And that definitely helps in the community, because I know that Transylvania Little League needs help just getting girls that want to play softball. And that's a big deal to us, is getting the word out about softball in the community and getting the little girls to love the game and want them to go and play down the road, and have us show up at those games so that they're like, oh, that's really cool. The college kids are coming to watch, so maybe I want to play softball, and just helping out the community as a whole. I worked with the head, kind of the commissioner over there at Transylvania County Little League, and he gave us some flyers. So when we go into the elementary schools, we can hand those out and get some younger kids into that program. So it's been a huge thing for us. It's been great for the team. They love it. Even yesterday, inter squad, some of those little girls came out and watched our inter squads and wrote little notes to the girls and stuff. It was cute. So it's a lot of fun for us too.
Very good, Coach. Well, stick with us just a couple more moments here. We're going to bring in a couple of your student athletes as we continue to get ready for opening day for the Brevard College softball team on Wednesday versus Carolina. Joining us now, student athletes Emily White and Karley Queen. Coach Shearin, before we let you go, if you can help introduce these two, and then maybe a final message for NATO Nation, why they should come out and support Brevard College softball this season.
Yeah, so NATO Nation knows Emily White pretty well. She's been here 5 years now. She's a graduate kid, and she's the prankster of the team. I'll tell you that. She's always messing with somebody. But Emily's just the fire behind everything for us. When she comes up, we know that something is going to happen. She's going to make things happen, and that comes with her experience as a player here. And she's a rock solid for us at third base. She's going to be there all year, so that's one constant that we know going forward for us. Karley is one of the ones I was telling you about. She's a freshman for us, brand new face, so that's exciting for NATO Nation to meet her. She'll be playing a lot in the outfield for us this year, and she's one of those ones that I get comments all the time. Karley's just so happy. She's always smiling. She's always laughing and having a good time. And it really does make my day better when I see Karley, just because she's always so happy to be on the diamond. But as far as hitting goes, she's going to hit the ball out. And we figured that out yesterday. She's going to hit home runs, and she's going to be fast, and she's going to put the ball in play and make things happen as well. So she's going to be a fun face to watch.
All right. Well, we can't wait to see these two student athletes and the entire program in action. Folks, come on out. Brevard College softball field, the home opener, the season opener for the Tornadoes this Wednesday at 1 p.m. It's a doubleheader, so if you're not able to get there just exactly at 1 o'clock, come on over whenever you're ready, and then there'll be plenty more opportunities throughout the season as well. Coach Shearin, a final word for NATO Nation, why they should come out and support your club?
Oh, yeah, definitely come out and support. You don't have any problem hearing us across campus, I'll tell you that. Our games are loud all the time. And even Coach Julian and Coach Dennis in baseball, they helped us in the fall. And afterwards they were like, gosh, Coach, like, you girls are always loud. They always have energy. And that's a huge part of our culture in Brevard softball. So it's a lot of fun to be out there. So come out and watch us. Very good. Well, Coach Shearin, we'll let you go. We'll see you Wednesday at the BC softball field for opening day. Congratulations on the start of another season. Thank you, Phil. All right, there she goes. And joined now by graduate third baseman Emily White out of Shelby, North Carolina, Crest High School. Emily, thanks for joining the show. Good to have you on here again.
Thank you for having me, Phil. I'm glad to be back.
And making her Tornado Talk debut, freshman infielder from Mocksville, North Carolina, Davie County High School, Karley Queen. Karley, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Emily, since you're the veteran of this bunch, we'll let you get things started. Just kind of sum up, Coach was talking about it quite a bit, but you guys have been working really hard to get ready for this opener on Wednesday in the season altogether. You've been through a number of these, pre-seasons before, but can you tell NATO Nation, just how hard you guys have been working and, what can we expect come Wednesday?
Yeah, we're really kind of getting used to the dirt now. There's a couple of us that did have to go through that transition from the turf to the dirt. And I feel like last year was really like an opening statement. We're ready. The dirt, we perform so much different. We try so much harder. We have our white pants dirty before we even start playing kind of thing. Like Coach Bree said, the energy we have is unmatched. And this year we have more numbers than I've had in my 5 years here. So I think it's really going to be a competitive year for us.
And Karley, tell us a little more. Coach mentioned inter-squad scrimmage. I know you guys have been working out, both on the field, also inside the Boshemer Gymnasium, whatever it takes during, inclement weather. Tell us a little bit about the preseason.
I'm excited about the preseason, see how it goes. The girls, we gel really good together. Love all of them. The upperclassmen have showed us, to be a better player on and off the field. I'm just excited for the season to start.
And Karley, tell us a little more about how you found Brevard College.
So I was at a tournament. I've always liked small schools. I don't really like big schools. I was at a tournament, and one of the coaches from Brevard was interested in me and wanted me to come to a tour around the school, and I loved it already. Loved the players, met some of the players, and it's just a great school to come to and to play softball.
And when did you start playing softball? Has it been in your DNA since an early age?
Yes, I started when I was 5 years old.
Very good. Well, it sounds certainly like a labor of love, and glad you found your way here to Brevard College. Can't wait to see you in action making your collegiate debut on Wednesday. Emily White, a graduate student here at Brevard College, would love to, tell NATO Nation, for those who might be meeting you for the first time, but certainly those who haven't caught up with you, lately, your total experience here at Brevard College. You got your bachelor's degree and, what you're up to now exactly.
So now I'm in the graduate program here. It's emergency management. I'm also a staff member for Campus Life, which is higher education was not the way I wanted to go, but I've loved it for the past couple months. But I'm also trying to get some hours with FEMA to kind of go to where my degree wants to take me. But as of right now, I plan to be in Brevard for a little while.
And can you tell us more specifically about that degree, a new offering here at Brevard College? What are some of the careers that, one would, head towards once obtaining that master's degree?
Yeah, so emergency management is dealing with a lot of the natural disasters. So the snow that we got here that some of the college kids may have not been prepared for, that's the kind of thing we would have helped with, or if anything would have been destroyed. It's really just a response to all the disasters around the world.
Makes a lot of sense. Very valuable work and contribution to the world, no doubt about it. Karley, in your freshman year here, so don't expect you to have everything quite figured out yet necessarily, but would love to hear, some of the classes you're taking. Perhaps you've already chosen a major or have your eye set on something in the classroom. Let us know.
Yes, I am majoring in health science. I want to be in the medical field, prefer pediatric nurse. I love biology. A lot of my classes that I have to have are biology. CPR is something that I'm going to be looking forward to next year. But all my classes are really good. Love all the professors, love all the students.
Very good. Now back to softball. Emily, tell us a little more about this year's club in particular. We're talking to your coach a little bit about it, but love to hear from you as far as, what NATO Nation can expect to see on the field, whether it's, style or play or, whatever comes to mind.
Yeah, in my opinion, defense wins games when it comes to baseball and softball, but our team can hit the ball better than I've seen in my 5 years here. we like combined yesterday, like Coach Bree said, we had girls hitting balls out more than normal. And it was surprising to me, but our squad can hit super hard. So I think the defense it'll get there. We're forming. We have a lot of depth on our mound. So I think it's going to be a really good year.
And Karley, tell us a little bit about yourself as a player. Coach told us a little bit, but what do you consider your strengths, and what can we expect to see out of you?
I'm a very coachable player. Everything that anybody tells me, I take forward. I always listen. I'm a go hard athlete. I'm here for 2 reasons: school and softball, of course. And I'm just a coachable athlete.
Yeah, it seems like you all are very dedicated to your sport. You guys want to win. You guys know how to have fun. You know how to serve the community. It's pretty much the entire package, Brevard College softball. But Emily, when it comes down to it, you guys, especially yourself and some of the other, seniors and graduate level players, you guys want to win. What's going to be the key to that?
Yeah, I mean, communication is a really big thing for us, and our energy. So the first game we come out really, really hot. We have to be able to bring it for a whole another 7 innings. And as long as we can communicate well and keep the energy up throughout all 14 innings, I think we'll be able to do it.
And sticking with you, Emily, one final message for NATO Nation as far as why they should come on out to the BC softball field, whether it's this Wednesday or beyond. Perhaps they've never seen the Tornadoes in action. Let them know why they should see this year's squad.
Yeah, just like Coach Bree said, with the numbers we have, how loud we are. I know one of our teammates, Cassie Plemons, is playing basketball right now. She's loud even inside, so it gets even louder outside. The Little League girls that we have come, I think, is a really good staple for this team, and it looks really good to everybody else. So we're going to be loud. We're going to score a lot of runs, and we're going to have fun.
Karley, you all do get loud in that dugout. Can you tell us, give us a little teaser, exactly how loud, or, maybe even behind the scenes, how that works exactly?
Well, you're going to hear a lot of girls screaming off the top of their lungs. You might hear us from the dorm rooms, but we're loud.
Yeah, so once you hear those cheers and so forth, softball's in action. Just start making your way past the patent track and over to the BC softball field and settle in for some great action down there. We can't wait to see you all in action this Wednesday. Well, before I let you go, final opportunity here for a thank you or shout out. Anyone who may have helped you along the way, or just someone who might be special or dear to your heart. Karley, we'll let you go first. Shout outs or thank yous.
I'd like to shout out to my family, of course, and all the coaches that got me to the point and the player that I am today.
Very good. Well said. Nice and concise. Appreciate that. And Emily, we'll leave the final word to you, the graduate infielder. Can't wait to announce you starting on Wednesday and throughout this season. But love to hear from you as far as, your final thoughts and thank yous and shout outs, of course.
Yeah, it's my mom and dad, my grandparents, and really Coach Bree, because our journey's been long. So a new coach every year, I was struggling, but she's really making a statement here.
Very good. Well, very nicely done on this edition of Tornado Talk. Emily White and Karley Queen, 2 softball student athletes for Brevard College. Once again, check them out this Wednesday. Doubleheader begins at 1 p.m. at the BC softball field, and then the Tornadoes will be in action throughout the spring. BCTornadoes.com for that complete schedule. Emily and Karley, great job this evening. Thanks for joining the show. Good luck.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see them Wednesday at the BC softball field, and we're going to quickly shift gears here, and we're going to come indoors back to the Boshemer Gymnasium and talk some hoops, because men's and women's basketball are coming down the home stretch here, and both teams in contention for USA South Conference postseason play. And joined now by the head coach of the men's basketball team, Lee Burgess. Coach Burgess, thanks for joining the show.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, Coach, want to recap this past weekend before we move ahead to the business at hand. An 86-72 win over Bob Jones, big performance from Quincy Carter. But, from this vantage point, a complete victory all the way around, just some really strong play and a lot of things to build on.
Yeah, it was a really, really good game. One of the better games that we've played, especially in the second half. 18-0 runs help that. So an 18-0 run in the second half certainly pushed that game wide open. So I thought it was a pretty complete performance for us, one of our better performances of the year. Had a lot of contributions from a lot of guys offensively. Defensively, I thought we were solid. Took care of the ball, hit the glass. It was, like I said, pretty complete. And when you're making shots, and we shot it pretty well, especially from the arc, when you're making shots, then, things certainly have a tendency to look really good.
And, sort of the perfect precursor in a lot of ways to what's ahead, because, this is really crunch time for the Tornadoes. And it begins tomorrow with a matchup versus Maryville here at the Boschmer Gymnasium. Now, we're talking about the number 12 ranked team in the nation. This Maryville club, as good as any we've seen, in recent years in the USA South Conference. A big task for the Tornadoes, but every game critical from this juncture forward for USA South Conference play.
It is, and while you were on the air, the latest D3 poll came out. They've climbed a spot to number 11, just FYI. So the 11th ranked team in the country coming into our place tomorrow, which we don't get that opportunity very often to have a ranked team come and play us on our home floor. So we're really excited to have that opportunity. It was a game at their place. We had some really, really unforced, careless turnovers in the first half. The game got away from us in the first half pretty quickly. We got it back to a manageable amount at halftime, and then second half I thought played better. But they're really, really good. They've got really good players. Their coach does a very good job getting them to be connected, getting them to embrace their roles. The stuff that they do it in a very hard-nosed manner. So great coach, great buy-in from the players, and then terrific individual talent that they have as well. So it will probably be the most complete team that we see in Boschmer this year. Like I said, we don't get that opportunity very often. So our guys are excited for it. I hope we can come out and play well. I know we're going to be excited. And I hope we can play well. Getting us to relax and be able to still function will be important. But I think our guys are in a good headspace. They know what it is we need to do to be successful. Now, knowing it and doing it are two different things. So it'll be a tall task tomorrow, but we're excited to have that opportunity.
And certainly want to invite, NATO Nation to come out in force to, turn that Boschmer Gymnasium into a home court advantage for the Tornadoes against the number 11 ranked team in the nation, Maryville. And then the conference schedule continues. We talked about it last show. The schedule leans towards home games now, so that's certainly an advantage. Friday versus Huntington, 2 p.m. start for that one. This is a rescheduled matchup, and this is when the two clubs could fit it in best. So 2 p.m., a rare weekday afternoon, Coach, versus Huntington.
Yeah, we'll play tomorrow. We've had our off day for this week already, so we'll get on the floor Wednesday, and we'll see how we feel after coming out of the game tomorrow. But we'll practice Wednesday, Thursday, and then get ready for Huntington. It's a big game for us. We're in contention for a conference tournament spot, and every game is gonna matter. So Huntington Friday was a 2-point win on the road at their place not too long ago, it will be. I would expect another tight affair. Usually our games with Huntington are. It's a contrast of styles, how we play, how they play, and it usually lends itself to pretty hotly contested battles. So we'll get them Friday afternoon. It'll be different, get our guys out of class to come play a home game, which we don't do. So it'll be different. And I think we should be able to turn the kind of novelty of it into an exciting deal for our guys.
And then Saturday, a back-to-back situation where the Tornadoes will then host Covenant. That's a 4 p.m. start at the Boschmer Gymnasium, part of a women's-men's double header at the Boschmer Gymnasium. A lot going on campus. The campus will be buzzing with Tornado sports on Saturday, and the Tornadoes will take the stage at 4:00. Coach, that'll be a compelling matchup as well, and like we've been talking about, critical as far as those standings in the West Division.
Yeah, and Covenant is playing really, really well. They played tonight against Berea and won pretty handily against Berea. They just won double digits, I believe. I think it was by 10 at LaGrange, and we know how difficult it is to go play at LaGrange. So Covenant got that win. So Covenant is playing really, really well. Will have played on Friday because of the reschedule with Huntington, and Covenant will not have played on Friday. So that's a little bit different that we don't usually have to deal with, us playing a back-to-back while the other team does not. So we'll certainly do what we can do, Friday night, Saturday morning to get ourselves quickly turned around to get ready for that game. They have a really, really good player, Will Crumley, who's about 6'9", can play inside, can play outside, has been an All-American for them in the past, is one of the better players in this league, is a very difficult matchup for us and is a very difficult matchup for anybody in this conference. They have another player, Chris Barnett, as their point guard, and those are two of the better players in the league. So, we've got home games, which we're excited about. We're playing good teams, which is fun to be able to go compete against some really good opponents. We need to find ways to be successful against them. So, if you ask our guys, would you rather practice or play? They'd rather play. So, hey, this week is they get their wish this week for sure.
Well, at least you avoid the long bus rides, this week. That's for certain. Certainly the schedule leaning towards the home side. Now, Coach, we talked a little bit about it with softball coach Bree Shearin as far as the importance of community service here at Brevard College with the student-athlete experience, and a great program on Saturday to get behind a local charity, a local, cause, which is Jameson's Joy, and I know this one's very close to your heart, Coach. I'd love for you to tell folks more about this program.
Sure. Yeah. Jameson Corteen is a young man, a local boy. He is, I believe my oldest son's age. I think he and Lee for the same age, so he would have been 13 now. But several years back, very unexpectedly passed away. We went to church with the family. Dan and Erica Corteen are his parents, and they're elementary school teachers here in Brevard, and just wanted to be there to support them. They created this foundation, Jameson's Joy, where the legacy will live on in trying to spread Jameson's joy through the community. And a way that we were able to do that was to partner with the foundation and just shine a light on the foundation, give the organization a chance to come to our game and set up a table and just tell all the people coming in about Jameson and about the foundation, and raise some money for the program. And I know that organization is what they want to do is invest it back in the community to make things a more joyous place for kids, really. So they are responsible for the Ninja Park over by the rec department. They put that in, and I know my kids have taken advantage of that Ninja Park many times. And so, love that family, love Jameson's Joy message, and really it's a small part that we're doing just to be able to shine a light on the organization. Yeah,
a fantastic, foundation and cause all the way together. And like you said, locally right here in Transylvania County, the Jameson's Joy Memorial Fitness Park, just around the corner here from Brevard College. Also some great children's literacy programs as well. And the list goes on and on. jamesonsjoy.org if you want to learn more or donate. Appreciate that, Coach. Well, Coach, before we let you go, we've been talking about it all show. Very critical time on the court for the Tornadoes, in the thick of the standings to qualify for postseason play. Currently sitting in fourth place in the West Division standings. The top four teams make it from each division of the USA South Conference. But I'm sure it's one game at a time as far as you and the team is concerned. But That being said, for NATO Nation's sake, can you kind of put all this in perspective?
No, it's one game at a time. We've got 5 games left, and each game, if we beat Maryville tomorrow, that's going to be a phenomenal win for our program. It counts as one win, just like the next game would count as one win, or then one loss, whatever. So it's one game at a time. We'll see where we are as we get closer to it. We're less than 2 weeks away from the end of the regular season, and that feels like a really short period of time, which it is. But we've got 5 games, and that's a lot of games left. So we're barely halfway through our conference season. We played 12 games. We have 12 games on the schedule. We played 7. So we're barely halfway done with our conference season, but there's less than 2 weeks to go. So while it's just right around the corner, there's still a lot of games to be played. But yeah, we are in 4th. We are just in front of Piedmont, who beat us at our place. So we're going to go to them next week, Tuesday. And just like all these other games, that's going to be a massive game for us as well. But we're going to worry about Maryville tomorrow. And then after tomorrow, then we'll worry about Huntington. And then after Huntington, we'll worry about Covenant. And then after Covenant, we'll worry about Piedmont and then LaGrange. So hopefully that's the perspective for NATO Nation that they can grasp and get their heads around, because that's how we're approaching the men's basketball program.
Very good, Coach. We'll take it one game at a time with you, and that'll start tomorrow versus 11th-ranked Maryville, 7 p.m. at the Bosch. Hope you can join us there for that one. Coach, can't wait to see your squad in action beginning tomorrow through this Heart of USA South Conference play. Thanks for joining the program and catching up a bit, and we'll see you at the Bosch.
Absolutely. Thanks, Phil.
All right, there he goes, head coach Lee Burgess, and we're going to shift to the women's side now and talk to head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson, as we'll bring Coach Hudson into the program. Coach Hudson, thanks for joining the show.
What's going on, Phil? How you doing, man? Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
We're doing great. It's an exciting time around Brevard College athletics with the start of spring sports, as well as this critical part of USA South Conference play for men's and women's basketball. And before we look what's ahead, Coach, would love to recap this past weekend wins over both Wesleyan and Agnes Scott. Big performance from Shakira Thompson in the first of those 2 games, and then a career performance from McKenna Parkins, both with big scoring output as well as block shots. You name it, she got it done. But overall, Coach, now that you can look back on this past weekend, can you catch us up? What went well for the Tornadoes?
Yes. Saturday. We played Wesleyan College out of Macon. They came up short with numbers and everything, so we knew it was going to be a game where we could probably go deep into our bench and get some of our players experience that don't typically get out there and play a ton. And we were able to do that. And like you said in the intro, Shakira Thompson got it going a little bit. And talking with Coach AB, that was our plan. We wanted to leave her out there, let her play a little bit, because we're going to need her down the stretch. Just let her get a rhythm, see a few shots go through. She played well. I thought Callie Wells also played well. Just trying to get into a rhythm as we hit this home stretch. That's going to be big for us. And then Sunday, we were able to bounce back and come back with Agnes Scott. They had a few more numbers at 7. They didn't have 5 as Wesleyan did. But another game where we played okay defensively, struggled to make some shots early, which kind of led to us defensively not having the intensity that I wanted to see. But we kind of picked that up in the second half, made some shots. We were able to come away with 2 big wins this weekend, Phil.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And as you mentioned, Coach, Callie Wells, career highs in points, rebounds, and assists. Shakira Thompson with 21 points. Also, some career high performances from players like Melvia Seymour, Lexi Shepard as well. And then women's basketball on Sunday, McKenna Parkins, just those numbers once again, folks, 27 points. She had 5 block shots. That's the 3rd highest total in school history. So outstanding performance there. But, quickly turning the page. And first up, Coach, a trip to Maryville on Wednesday. And this will be the first of 2 meetings within, really 5 or 6 days against the Maryville Scots, because they'll come back to, Brevard this weekend. But first things first, you have a road trip ahead of you, 6 o'clock on Wednesday.
Yep. We were forced to kind of postpone the game. I want to say it was maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were supposed to go to their place and get this game played, but they had COVID issues and they were shut down. So we found a date that worked for both teams, and that's what we're going to do with that Sunday. That'll be the Sunday game. But Wednesday, I feel it's going to be a big game, man. Big game for both teams. Both teams are kind of fighting for playoff positioning. And I don't want to look past anything. We have this one, Huntington Saturday, Maryville again, then Huntington to finish up. Like Coach LB said right before me, I can't look at those games down the road. We want to focus on this one Wednesday with Maryville. We'll go into practice tomorrow morning, go over their stuff, go over some stuff that I want to see us do better as a team. And we'll be ready to hit the road Wednesday and hopefully come back with a win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And folks, that's not all that far. So, it makes for a shorter road trip for the team. Does that shift things a little bit, Coach, compared to some of the longer road trips in the USA South Conference when it's a foe that's, just a couple hours away like that?
Yeah, when we have the shorter trips, like the 2 hours, 2.5 hours, instead of getting a bus, we'll just charter a van over. And it doesn't change much game plan wise or scheme wise. I still like to get to the arena around the same time. So it doesn't change much as far as going to play the game. The only thing that's different is we're traveling different. We don't have the young transportation vans. We'll get vans, the buses. We'll get vans from Enterprise. Myself and Coach AB will drive over, drive back after the game, pick up some post-game meal, try to get back to Brevard.
Yeah, it was certainly a shorter trip compared to some of the long ones that require overnights. Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, one of those teams making a long trip to Brevard is Huntington. They'll come in on Saturday. That's a 2:00 tip-off. That's your next chance to see the women's basketball team here at the Bosch. And it's also going to be Senior Day here at the Bosch. A tremendous senior class being honored. Just like that, we're already at Senior Day, Coach. But I know that's always a special opportunity for you, the families, and certainly, not just the seniors to kind of soak in that moment, but, the younger players as well, who have been mentored by these seniors to get to celebrate their teammates. Can you comment a bit on that, this year's senior class, but also just how special an opportunity that is?
Yeah, and like you said, Phil, it's not just for the seniors that are graduating, the ones that are playing. It's a moment for their families that have helped them get to this point. And it's also a nice moment that kind of puts things into focus for the younger kids. They feel like they have so much basketball in front of them, but it goes so fast. They get to see those seniors on their senior night and just be within all their emotion. And I think it kind of puts things in perspective for themselves. And so it's always a good time with senior night with us. We've been fortunate to play pretty well with all our senior nights, and I look forward to honoring these seniors that we have right now. They've done a tremendous job this year, Phil, of making sure that the younger kids and the sophomores kind of understand how we do things. That's very big on building culture and tradition. Having players that can police the team. It can't always come from myself or Coach AB. It comes better from peers. When a peer is able to correct a peer, I think that goes a long way. And I've been fortunate enough for the 6 years that I've been here to coach some tremendous seniors.
Well, folks, make sure you come out a little early on Saturday. It's a 2:00 tip-off versus Huntington Senior Day ceremony prior to the game, and you won't want to miss that special moment for those seniors. And then, as we mentioned, the second part of that 2-game series against Maryville, that'll be Sunday, 3 p.m. at the Bosch. So mark your calendars for that one. Come on out on Sunday and see the women's basketball team. It all adds up to the Tornadoes in this postseason hunt, Coach. Currently right there in the thick of it. Top 5 teams make the tournament. 4 plays 5 at 4's place in round 1 as far as that West Division goes. Coach, it's an exciting time, being in the postseason hunt like that. Can you tell us a little bit about, that side of things and just how it kind of cranks everything up for, the Tornadoes and, how every game matters?
Yeah. And I told the team once we came back from Christmas break in early January that this is when it's fun. Down the stretch is when you want to be playing your best basketball. And I think of our last 4 games, we're 3-1. I think we're playing pretty decently right now. We're hitting our stride, playing okay. But it's going to come down to, can we sustain that? Over the last 6 days, we've played 4 games, Phil. That's mentally, physically draining. So kudos to my team for getting through that. But now we got to stay with it. We had an off day today. We'll go tomorrow, get ready for Maryville. And we'll take off Wednesday. We'll play Wednesday, take off Thursday, practice Friday, get ready for Huntington on Saturday. So it's not much time to kind of take off and everything. We got to hit the ground running, be prepared to play these games. But when you're playing for something down the stretch, it means something. It feels different. We haven't been in this position a ton. We were able to qualify for the postseason last year in our first season being eligible for it. So we're looking to do that again this year, Phil. Just looking to take it one day at a time, one practice at a time, and hopefully we take care of our business and we'll end up where we want to be.
Yeah, very exciting for NATO Nation to get to witness this as it unfolds, and it begins tomorrow or Wednesday rather with a trip to Maryville. Games over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, Huntington and Maryville, and then the season actually concludes on Tuesday the 15th. A trip to Huntington, that's another rescheduling situation, and then the tournament starts on the 19th. Coach, we can't wait to see you in action this weekend at the Bosch. Thanks for catching us up on women's basketball. Appreciate you joining the show.
Absolutely, Phil. Thanks for having me. Look forward to seeing y'all, NATO Nation. Good luck to the guys tomorrow night. Everyone come check them out and come support. Big game for the program.
Well said, Coach, and a great way to cap off this program where we talked baseball, softball, men's basketball, women's basketball, and it's exciting time of the year. What those in the business call crossover season, where the winter sports and the spring sports converge, and this weekend will be a busy one at Brevard College. So check out bctornadoes.com, check out the Tornadoes on social media, and come on out and support these outstanding student athletes. Well, I want to thank you, NATO Nation, for joining another program of Tornado Talk. We'll see you next Monday night, same time and same channel. I want to thank producer Joseph Marvin and all of our guests this evening as well. We'll see you at a upcoming Tornadoes event. Go Tornadoes!